Jason, Bert and Tane, Aries, Brandon, all out there circulating, getting themselves ready, and then just going through. We've got Artie, the head of the GT4 field. Looks like everybody has filed through nicely, but certainly not going to what am I thinking? We're not going to envy the likes of Marnik, who's going to start from 34th and last position here at the head of the field, as we get ready at the very tail of the field, having missed qualifying for those reasons. So nowhere to hide for our drivers in the bottom of the screen, and we'll try and get you all the action as we get underway. Out of the final corner, that's Ingve corner, and we'll be ready to fire up. We'll wait for the green flag, as the cars will just try and deconcertina. That was getting a little bit hairy out there as they get ready 2x2 at the front of the field. Not quite on row 3 backwards, but it's dropped the clutch and it's go, go, go for a 1 hour race here at Kyalami for Black Flag Racing's Premier Division Race 5, and they're level pegging as they go through the kink, and then they'll be slamming on the brakes down into the Crowthorne turn 2. Lots and lots of cars side by side as we run through the order. I can't see any particular accidents, no one flying off the circuit at this early stage, but as I said before, it's going to be Marnik down in 34th position, who has so much left to fight for here in the championship, and we'll continue round we go, and hopefully we will get you some great overtakes later on. But at the front of the field, it's Tin ahead of Lucas, and a great early start then for our drivers as we get them all underway.
What the fuck was that?
And Lucas then in the Porsche,
what the hell?
Hoping to not let Tin get too far away, but it's 0.4 of a second already. Cody in front of Harry in that P3 and P4 positions, and we've got Leroy in the 5th place. Looks like Matrix has gone for a spin in the lower left corner, but I've got you've got a better view of that than I have. He's had a little go around. It's Harry in 4th ahead of Leroy in 5th place. There is Leroy, and then we've got Ruben holding on at the moment ahead of Angel, and that's Ruben going for the move down the inside line in towards the Crocodiles. Great move, but there's a little bit of an overspill outside of the corner there from Leroy, I think it is, who's gone backwards slightly. It's Ruben in the ascendancy here, and then it's Angel behind. I think that's behind Leroy. Yeah, it is. So Ruben making the good overtake. Then you've got Angel in 7th place, trying to move himself forward as much as he possibly can at this early stage of the race. One mandatory pit stop for the drivers, and that's a dive bomb down the inside into Crowthorne. I think Leroy not quite able to get by, and now he's fully on the defensive as they go in towards that barbecue corner, one of the slowest left-handers here, and they'll go side by side and right round the outside, and that wouldn't count in F1, but it works here for Angel round the outside, and a nice overtake from Angel that way. So a great start from him. Leading the pack then with the fastest lap is Tin out there, and we'll go down the order and just see if there's anything cooking in the middle of the field. Unfortunately, Matrix a long way off the field there at the bottom left of the screen. Jason's in the thick of it in the middle, and Brandon can still see the car in front with plenty of room. We've got Rick, who is closely followed by his team here and his fan club in P8 currently. And he's hoping for a less eventful race than we saw last week. SP Rick for champion says, Otyele Gaming. So we've got Keith out in 9th place in the Lexus, followed by Crit in 10th. There is Jason from the helicopter camp in P11, centre screen at the bottom, formerly known as Got King, hence the GK over his mirror, which I'll ask him to move actually. for these purposes. We've got Brian in 13th, Brandon. Let's go down and check out the progress. We've got Marnik challenging for the title here in 15th position. He has made up 20 places in the course of one racing lap. Is that for real? That's insane from Marnik. There he is in P15. He's got a long way to go to catch the very front of the grid, but you'll know that he's going to be planning whatever strategy he possibly can. Dives to the outside here, possibly trying to upset the balance there of Brandon, who you can see in the bottom right of your screen. Kyle's saying pretty sure Marnik had cleared all the GT4s by turn 1. That's awesome. Absolutely amazing. So a cut back there from Marnik, and he is going to be absolutely working the tyres. Brandon is trying to hold on here for the next corner, passing the old secondary pit lane as they run round into Sunset Corner. You'll see why Sunset Corner if we get into a sunset situation there. Of course, it is directly due west, and that's Marnik down the inside, and a lovely move from him. So nice work from Marnik as he moves himself then up to 14th position as we see things. Then there's a trio of trouble here. Bert ahead of Tane and Jeremiah. Let's give you a little bit of Tane, shall we? Because we haven't done that yet. Let's overlay Tane over the top here. Oh, he's racing chase view. What is going on there? I've not seen that before. Most everybody else is running in that cockpit view. So Tane racing behind the car, and he's got Bert directly behind him, looking for a weakness in the game as we continue running. So good start from here, and then Bert gets a little bit wide. Here comes Runks down the inside line as they come towards the end of the lap 2. Nothing doing for Runks just yet, but that's going to be offline for is that Bert? Yes, it is. And Jeremiah down around the outside. Some say he races inside of a closet, and that his favourite sport is 10-car bowling. All we know is he's called the Runks. It's Jeremiah in 17th, Bert in 18th now, Lime in 19th, Nate in 20th. Not a good start from my former teammate Nate, unfortunately, there in the 189. And we've got Aries, the only car behind Nate in the GT3 field. This is great to see. Artie ahead of Josh, but Josh not letting Artie get away here. So Artie leading on a 4 wins from 4 races. We thought we had a dominant driver in GT4 last season, and we absolutely did. But Artie has stepped up as he stepped down, as it were, stepped up his game as he stepped down in class. Artie in 22nd and first position in his 11-car field in the GT4s, as Josh is fighting hard to make his move here. But Artie potentially with a bit more fuel on board. Possibly. Kyle saying Artie's arguably more dominant than Jondola was. Well, it doesn't look like it today. We'll see. This could be a bit of a bogey track for him. Everyone's allowed one bogey track, or one missed race, of course, as we continue through the rest of the field. I will just scroll our leaderboard down for you so you can see that GT4 field. I don't want to be repeatedly accused of favouritism. Matrix dead last at the moment because he had that drama at the start. And look at Artie trying his best here as Josh is fighting on. The 771, the blue with a black stripe down the centre line. He's absolutely crowding out our dominant GT4 championship leader. Down the inside we go. That was a bit hot though from him, as Artie playing the long game and letting him back through again. That is awesome, as Purple says, repeatedly accused. Yeah. But running then down into the final corner, Ingve of 16 of 16, and Artie holds on at the head of the GT4 field. Great moving here from him as Arik is making up ground. So I did say that that Matrix was dead last. Looks like Arik has had some issues there, but he's out there in the Lamborghini and just ahead of the GT4 field now. Artie channeling his inner Iceman, says Kyle. Haven't heard from family Keith yet, so maybe it was a one-time thing for them to show. Further back then, in fourth, sorry, no, that's a GT3 all day long for Sam, and then we've got Archie, Dave ahead of Archie, ahead of Hunter. And that is in 4th, 5th and 6th positions in the class. Going back down then, let's just check out this, is Artie and Josh still fighting? They absolutely are. Let's give a new angle there. We've had a lot of time on the helicopter cam, but such is the early few laps. That's a wide run then from Brittany Steers. Josh has got his teammate Alec chasing him down as well, or providing rear gunner support. doesn't look particularly supportive right now as he's having a look down the inside, and that has stolen a little bit of the impetus there, but it's very much Mercedes 1-2-3 in the GT4 field. As we continue through here, try and give you a little swap out there. I know I haven't shown Marnik yet. I'll do a little bit of Marnik, shall we, in a moment. Let's try and give you that, and I will select his POV. I need to turn off Brandon's. There we go. On with Marnik as he runs through. I probably should have selected Marnik early doors from the very outset, I would have thought, but it was very late to the party, unfortunately, for Marnik. Flash of the lights there from the GT3. That's Sam going down the inside there, just indicating that he was on his way through. And good start then from him, as we'll just go back to the head of the overall positions. Tin still ahead of Lucas, Harry, Cody, Ruben, Angel, Leroy and Rick, top 8 in the GT3 field. And it looks like Marnik taking his time here to get by, but he's doing a great job and is already up into the second half of the field. You can see Marnik in P10, at least on the live timing board right now. So it looks like, for now at least, the top 3 in the GT4 field are pretty settled. We'll go over and check on our GT3 field leaders. So we'll just check in on everybody else. There's Max. Matrix still at the very back of the grid, unfortunately. Having a lonely race right now, but I'm sure other people will still have plenty of issues through the rest of the race. This is this is Lucas. Let me get a better angle here. This is Lucas, and it's Tin in front, the fastest lap of the race at the moment, and leading ahead of Lucas. Lucas out of sight, so Tin just trying to escape here while Marnik is having to take his time to get through the more equal paced cars around him. Marnik is 10th, says Bullman, absolutely. From the back of the grid, there is Veronica, the first of the Henrys, cheering on Keith. So it's great to have Team Keith here in the chat. Let me know if we've got the full family, already more family today, friends of Keith. There's Harry in P3, a very impressive start for the 2 Porsches there. Lucas and Harry in 2nd and 3rd position. Cody in 4th in the Mustang. Marnik 7th, says Kyle. Wow. Okay, let's go see Marnik and his progress. Well, he's just got by Snack Pack's Nate and the Beast 666. Marvelous Marnik in P7 from 35th position at the start of the race, up to P7 by lap 6. Absolutely astounding performance from him. So hats off to Marnik. I didn't actually catch exactly what it was about his performance from the previous race that gave him the qualifying penalty. Maybe it was just a simple qualifying infraction in the middle of in midweek or last race that I'm unaware of. Rick dead in 6th, ahead of Marnik. That gap looking at 0.8 of a second, and Marnik is absolutely storming through the field. Let's see if he's decided to go light and then take a bit of extra time in the pit lane as we get deeper into this 1 hour of racing. 7.5 minutes to go until the pit stop window is open, as we'll go full feature on the battle between Jason and that's Angel getting by. A nice overtake from Angel as he runs through. We'll just call out anything you see in the other, especially if there's something about to happen in the POVs at the bottom of the screen, because I can't watch 4 things at once. You guys that are more interested in your friends will perhaps be in a situation to do that for me a little bit better. Let's have a look as we run through then. I'll just give you a check-in on the leaderboard with the bottom of the field as well. All looking okay right now. Okay, just taking stock then of our race so far, with Nate in 8th place, Brandon in 9th, Jason, and this is Angel clearing ahead of Brian. Looks like Jason chasing down Brandon now, 201 Kingsman Motorsport Porsche against the black and green Apex Critical racing car of Brandon in the Mustang there. Just running very wide on the run through the following corners. And Jason looking good out there. Crit in 19th, says Going Grace. Hopefully, yeah, you can just about see that. He started in the, I think it was around 10th position, so it's been a big loss for Crit so far. Okay, so avoidable contact last week's qualifying for Marnik. Understood. Thank you for the clarification, Logan. I'm sure I was sure there was a good reason, so no worries on that front. Marnik's got a bit of clear air in front of him. Let's maybe turn on a bit of who should we do? Tane is racing right on the very front fender of his car now. Has he changed that? Or was it Brandon who was running on the chase cam? It was Tane. So Tane was, I think, used that POV just to make the start work on the chase cam, and now he's switched to front fender. An interesting difference in racing style from everybody, as you can see. But that is the driver's prerogative, of course, as they try to absolutely get the very best out of their performance. They'll be running as well as possible here. 45 minutes still to go in our hour of racing, as we've got Tane in 12th with Keith out in 13th place. It looks like a net loss then for Keith, unfortunately, as we run through. How did Ruben jump to 20th? Unfortunately, I can't give you an answer to that right now. We've got Tane then ahead of Keith for 12th place. We've got Jeremiah in 14th place, and no grip, no glories. Nate, the 189 there, chasing down Jeremiah. Nate, the very first non-admin member of BFR, so he's been with us since the very start here. Logan saying that Ruben spun in turn 1. That's Runks. Jeremiah being very, very defensive into Ingve corner. Crowd are still very much into this race, as we've got Nate then powering through, trying his level best to find a weakness in the Runks game. Runks defending hard though on the inside line, as the Lamborghini is eyeing up a run all the way around the outside. Runks says, I won't give you space. Then he kind of says, I will give you space. And in the end, Nate was not able to charge by, but stamping on the brakes mid-turn into barbecue there for Nate, and he'll be moaning in the car. I know Nate absolutely loves the McLaren, and I think he's not particularly happy driving this Lamborghini, and have been told it's a very different and a difficult car to drive, the Lambo, very on the nose, as it were, as he's doing his best now to try and find a way by and a way back up the order. Otyel Legamag says Rick is showing his natural talent. Well, we will check in with Rick soon. Rick currently P7 of the 34 drivers who are currently with us. If you're wondering why there are 35, well, my car is in the pit lane, so we get the main views here, and I can change what I'm doing and the car that I'm watching more predictably, but I do take a slot from everybody else. As in so doing, this is a good manoeuvre then from Nate, going outside to inside, forcing Runks to be defensive, but Nate will be watching those mirrors and worrying now. Looks like Matrix has caught some cars, or has been caught by some cars, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, caught by some GT3, so they've started to put a lap on, and that Runks kind of parking it on the apex possibly. Nate getting into the back of him, and Nate will now wait, it looks like, for Runks to get by, for Jeremiah to come on through. That was very low speed contact, unfortunately, but looked like that is the consequence of one driver going for a switchback and the other holding firm at the apex. So just one of those situations, unfortunately. That's a crowded racetrack type of racing, and that's what happens sometimes. You've got Arik in 20th, Sam in the pit lane. The pit stop window is not open yet, as far as I can remember hearing, or not hearing, as it were. Artie leading the way then at 3.1 seconds ahead of his the rest of the GT4 field. Oh, that was tight there from Artie out on the dirt. I'm sure it didn't feel quite as bad on his point, but Gillard saying, yeah, great sportsmanship from Nate, absolutely. Absolutely, just holding by, ended up giving up 2 additional spots and a whole bunch of seconds, and that's Lime in the BMW scything past his teammate across division as they run through. There is Josh in 24th place, so that's P2 in the GT4 class. P3 is his teammate Alec for Brittany Steers Racing. Looking very good for a point haul for Brittany Steers in GT4 today, but they'll be eyeing up that lead, no doubt. Dave is just being caught in the big chunky Chevrolet by Archie, running for Kingsman there in the Porsche. Getting down the inside, Archie. No, was that a genuine overtake? Porsche looking very large on the order, but on my screen anyway, I've got the overall standings showing, so turn those over and get back to relative. There we go. Accidentally, it happens sometimes. We're just watching Harry there in P3 as Cody it was in the Porsche going through, as Cody in the Ford Mustang, just passing Archie out in 27th position. That is 5th in the GT4 class. The blue flags all over, and there goes your pit window open right on the button of the 40 minutes to go mark. That's a nasty looking curve on the right hand side of the car there as the cars bounce over it. The A46 Porsche, got to be really careful upsetting the balance on a Porsche. And that is Marnik in P6 now. Marnik, and we'll get you his view of life, shall we? It's Brandon back down to Marnik then on the bottom right of your screen as he is trying now to find his way through. I'm trying not to give away too much in the way of the driver's tyre strap and condition in these views, and try and get out of Twitch advert jail as well. But this is chasing down 5th position after starting out in what I believe to have been 35th position there. Marnik P12, you can see how he is absolutely the very best of the drivers out in GT3, second only to our championship leader Tin, and that is just intimidation, perfectly natural and legitimate sheer intimidation from Marnik as he makes his way by Leroy and absolutely grabs 5th position. Marnik absolutely doing a fantastic job so far. There, the former French-Dutch driver with a Swiss flag on his car, which is not confusing for anybody at all, least of all your commentator. But there you can see the bottom half of the field. It looks like Matrix has made his way by at least Brian and Dave in the standings. Those are the tail runners there. So Matrix, bottom left of your screen, putting in a really good stint at this point, even though he had big problems early doors. Tin leads Lucas and Harry in the GT3 field. We'll get onto those drivers very soon. Won't be far to actually go. Got Cody in 4th, and then your driver in focus, as it was, as we follow up that P2 and 3 battle in GT4, and that's all happening. It's all kicking off now as the GT3s get by. Still 187. That is Alec, who's got himself ahead of his teammate Josh, and this is Cody and Harry in the Porsche, the Porsche and the Ford Mustang respectively. As we run through, let's give you Cody's view of this battle. As we've got, is that Rick? No, that's actually Sam down in 22nd positions. Rick's teammate there, just chomping away at the rear diffuser of the Mustang. Understeer City from the Detroit car maker. As we continue then, and you've got Marnik there in 5th position, and he will be chasing down this group, I think, very soon. You can see his progress. He's closing in on that 22nd place, red and black. Snack Pack Racing. Is that Snack Pack? I think it is. Am I completely talking rubbish? I think red and black is Snack Pack. I'm looking across at my wall poster I was given and printed out from Grays, but it's a little bit weird colour in my room at the moment, so I'm struggling. Too many focus areas for me. You've got Jason, formerly known as God King, at the bottom centre of your screen as well. He's had an entertaining race so far. We'll just move forward in the order there. You can check out what's happening with Artie, who is still leading the field of the GT4 drivers. As the GT3 top 5 make their way through. That's Marnik in the blue Lexus behind him, closing in. Reassure me that the live chat's still working, friends, today, if you can. Just haven't seen a change recently, so just want to make sure that all is well in that regard. But we just catch up with those positions at the moment. That's Marnik in 5th, Cody in 4th, Harry in 3rd. Then we've got Lucas in 2nd position. His gap is some 8.7, nearly 9 seconds ahead of P3. But unfortunately for him, he's 17.7 seconds away from Tin. Absolutely astounding pace there from Tin. What would this race have been with Marnik at the front of the race, I wonder? That is a huge question mark for this Kyalami round 5 of the championship. Some drivers might have taken the view, as Jason pits, you can see bottom of the screen. Some drivers may have taken the view that I just trundle around and call this my drop score, but Marnik is up there fighting for his life in that P5 now. Let's go see where he is relative to the drivers in front. You can see that the lime green shade of the apex critical driver Cody in P4. He's right on his tail here. You'll get a good view of it both from the trackside camera and bottom right of your screen from the POV. In fact, flashing the lights already with the red rims on this blue Lexus there, the 666. And he's got pace and grip to spare here. We'll see what Marnik is doing in terms of strategy today as well. Sometimes the Lexus behaves much better than you would expect on heavy fuel, but yeah, feeling like he's about to get held up as he then peels off into the pit lane. Apologies that the Twitch feeds are slightly off off the feed of the main screen, but it's impossible to get them all working exactly perfectly. We're dealing with a lot of things happening, but smart move, says Gillard there, into the pit lane. So from 35th position into 5th place before the pit stops, this is Angel on his way in the number 7 car. Lots of pit stops happening right now. There is Archie in the Porsche. He is running 4th in his GT4 class. Race very much on his own at the moment, so that's an interesting situation for him, or perhaps not very interesting at all. Let's have a look at a driver who's not in the pit lane, shall we? Oh, hello. We just turned on to Brandon there, bottom right, as he's mid-spin and into the wall. So unfortunately, that is 6th in the 14 car GT4 field, GT3 field for Brandon, but he's dropped down to 7th place now as a result of that little snafu spinala. Behind Archie's P9's Bert for Snack Pack in the McLaren. These are teammates, of course, so should be communicating on team radio quite comfortably, making their way through very nicely. So Brandon's got a lot of work to do here. Archie, let's go, says Otyelega. I'm not going to get you. You need to let me know how I'm spelling pronouncing your name and which part of it is what. I think Gamag might be gaming. I'm not sure in Dutch. There's No Grip No Glory's Nate, the 189 in the Lamborghini there in P10, and Crit looking good as well. Obviously, some drivers may have pitted. Jason is one of them who has pitted. In fact, let's go out to the helicopter cam as we get this real gaggle of drivers all condensing, coming together at this stage of the race. Jason in P12, just ahead of this car Thor in the GT4. Jason has pitted, so he's down in the order where he perhaps would expect to be at this stage. We just drop down and so you can see the bottom half of the field once again on your timing screen section, and you can call out any drivers that are particularly active on the timing screen if you wish to. So drop the live timing link, the pinned comment for the live chat today, and that is Jason going through, and he's going to gain a couple of positions now thanks to those pit stops in action, so we'll be happy about that at least. Yason up to P10 now after the pit stops, but there's several drivers, at least Bert and Nate, ahead of him who have not yet pitted. A lot of love for Crit out there, so we better find him on the circuit soon enough. Let's go over to Tane, see how Tane is getting on. He's back on the fender, front bumper, as we would say over here, and he's about to pit, it looks like, so he's getting ready for his pit stop. Back to Marnik, who's out of the pit lane now as well. Tin still hasn't pitted, and he is in, obviously in first position, way out in front here from the rest of the GT3 field, having a nice warm afternoon drive in South Africa right now. It means Otyi, empty stomach. Just call me Otyi. Okay, Otyi, no problem. Legamag means empty stomach. So hungry Otley is what we're going with. I love that. Okay, awesome. I love hearing people's their YouTube handles or their gamer tags or whatever, and the reasons why. There is Lime in 29th position, who will be hoping to learn a thing or two about how to handle this BMW beast. And he's probably not running over that curb on the right hand side of the car there. That's certainly quite uncomfortable. The car's behaving a little bit strangely as they run over there, so you've got to be very, very vigilant as you come through. And there is Lime, 133 ahead of Max. In front of him on track, the Chevy of Jeff, and it does look like, well, just wagging a front right wheel in the air there, Jeff, to try and get out of the way of Lime. After a while, as a GT4 driver, I'm sure you just wish that the GT3 would just hurry up and get by. There is Max, just navigating testing the grab on the run through turn 15 Cheetah and to Ingve, the final corner, turn 16, as he comes over the grid. We've got Tin into the pit lane now, and having his pit stop. So I'll have a look at those lap times as well. Let's just check out. I can see the lap times on my screen as I scroll up. So there was a 1:42 from Marnik that last lap, 42.9 actually. So he's on fresh fuel. This is Jeremiah, big runks, as there's a stop-go for Adam there. And I think he's in the pit lane, so I think he may have sped into the pit lane, unfortunately. The 41 of Jeremiah in P15 at the moment. He'll be hoping, I'm sure, to get out of that minus figure situation in the championship at the moment. But there he is in 15th, not far ahead of Ruben, who's in 16th position. Ruben might be feeling like he's really owed a better result than 16th, I'm sure, after a spin early on. And you can see Matrix bottom left of your screen going through his mandatory pit stop. There's only 8 minutes left of that pit stop window. Marnik bouncing all over the curbs there. P8 at the moment for Marnik, I think. Although his readout and the leaderboard on the right hand side of your screen are disagreeing with one another. There they go, caught up now. I think that was a pit stop in action that we saw there, as Ruben is closing in. This is a genuine battle for position. Number 3 against number 41. Rare Metal Racing against Brittany Steers. And a nice, very classical racing line there from Ruben, as Jeremiah is hugging the inside line. Now that worked out for him for most of a lap until we got into the final lap with Nate directly behind him. And then he got caught out. Unfortunately, Nate just making a mistake on the brakes or positioning of the car. So closing in, we might see overtakes going into that final corner quite frequently. Here it is, but Ruben currently held up slightly, I've got to say, as he continues to try and get a recovery drive complete here through the course of this fantastic round 5 of the championship. Sure, of course, we are now into the second half of our season 3. A wide entry then for Ruben, as there's a blue flag on the car in front as well. Jeremiah has every right to hold on to this position, of course, given that that this is for position, even though there is a fairly good difference in speed there. Ruben put himself on the outside, and then the GT3 deciding to peel across to the inside rather than stay on the racing line as these GT3s are coming by. So that was Hunter, who should know the rules, but he was trying to do the right thing, I'm sure. And BMW just prowling around. That really does look like a very menacing situation in the mirrors of Runks, Jeremiah, I'm sure. And then they're coming upon a very much slower Porsche as well. That's Brian. So this is really getting very, very difficult for Ruben. He would love to get by as quickly as he possibly can, trying to hold that inside line, but Jeremiah will have the run as they continue through. It's going to be slightly unpredictable what happens with the 164 Brian in the Porsche ahead, and we're going to get tired of waiting. I think eventually they're Ruben on the outside. He should get the drive of this corner, as the McLaren is typically a slightly slower race car, trying to squeeze Runks to the inside, and that holding on, and there is contact in the end. Now we'll be able to hang on to this one. Right round the outside we go, past the rainbow flag of the Kyalami circuit, and again, yeah, that is a similar situation for Runks there, waiting, and now, well, that is heartbreaking, I think, for Ruben, reversing on the racetrack. I'm not sure that that is going to be fully allowed, but that's going to allow lots of drivers by and to gain time here. What happened to Tin? A disconnect, are we saying? So Cody takes the lead of the race. Tin is out of it at the moment. Tin has dropped all the way down. Now we do get disconnections, but he's completely gone. We had Lucas drop out and then rejoin last race, but I don't see Tin. I see him in 28th position right now. So I'm not quite sure. We'll go through the field because this is huge news. He's won 4 from 4 rounds so far. I'm saying that, and that cannot be true. So he scored really highly on all 4 races of the season, but I know that Lucas won a race, and I'm pretty sure Marnik won one. So I'm saying something out loud, and I'm just really heavily questioning that now. But anyway, so I know Lucas won in Bathurst. So something was a little bit up there with the standings, or my reading of them, probably the latter. Rick is in 5th place. Marnik has now passed Rick. Nate in 3rd still hasn't pitted. He's got just under 4 minutes left to make that happen. And we've got a good bit of action happening here between the GT4 leader. That's Carl Sagan, disconnected twice for Tin. Unfortunately, yeah, down now to 32nd position. Tin from the lead of the race, from the lead of the championship as well. And there is the action that's happening. So everything's suddenly opening up for Marnik. And you can, yeah, there we. I was just thinking exactly the same thing as Logan there, going Grays. What a fantastic run here from everybody. Stressful time for Artie.
Let's go.
As Angel, Tin, and Nate go through. But yeah, this is an open door then, an open goal even for Marnik, who's in 4th place at the moment on the field, starting out in 34th or 35th position, with some disconnections, with some mechanicals from the driver. From the driver's concerned, this is a really, really big deal for him. Good progress from Matrix after a disastrous lap 1. He's in 31st position and has got himself ahead of one of the GT4 colleagues out there. We've got Lime in 23rd. There in the rare metals BMW, the 133. Crit is in P10. So back about where he started there, Crit, and he's got Brittany Steers Keith not far behind him. That is Keith in the blue Lexus. Behind them still further is Aries in the rare metal racing BMW. That Porsche is not looking good, and he's out on the gravel as well, the 92 of Crit. So it's all looking a little bit ropey and slightly unsure of himself there for a moment. That's Crit ahead of Keith, ahead of Aries on track, 10th, 11th, 12th, and we saw this last race as well, how tight the field is in the midfield. Absolutely outstanding little slide in the rear there from Aries as Keith pulls alongside. Keith going for the run down the inside line here on the left-hander, and looks like an overtake, sounds like an overtake, but he's got Matrix directly in front of him as they come through the next one. Matrix on the racing line, as he should be, and running through the right-hander of Sunset, and there we go. Keith securing that 10th position, then up into P10 for Keith, and ahead of Crit in P11 now with that bashed up Porsche front. As yeah, I thought one of Keith's fan club would be enjoying that one. That one's for Veronica, I'm sure, and that's a little bit of Matrix getting out of shape up the front there. Let's continue then to try and find where the lead of our field currently is. Well, Lucas leads the field. I thought it was Cody, but it's now Lucas leading the field. Where is Cody relative? He's down in 2nd position. So it's saying, yeah, that we've all done the same number of laps. We've got the top 7, inclusive of Snack Packs Nate, on the lead lap at this current time. The last lap there from Lucas was a 1:43. It was Cody who'd just done his pit stop, a 2:08 pit stop, pit lap for him, an out lap. So Lucas in P1. Let's see if we can't find the gap out to Marnik. Well, he's going to have a big gain on Tin here at the head of the field. That's Snack Pack Sam in P15 at the moment, just in the middle of the leaders. Sam ahead of Ruben on track. There's Ruben, and behind him you've got the Ford Mustang of the Apex Critical Racing, Cody, in P2 here. But they'll all be feeling a little bit nervous if anyone is telling them on team radio that Marnik has made his way up from the back of the grid and is chasing them down for a podium at least today. 20 minutes to go here on the race. There's Jeremiah in 17th. He's really struggled today, being passed through Ingve, turn 16, this final corner now. A couple of drivers have messed up the backside of the car. Arik in 18th place, with Thor in 24th there, but he's actually 3rd in class in the GT4 class. Behind him you've got Tane. We have been watching Tane a fair amount, but Marnik is showing as P3 now. Marnik, now that all the pit stops have taken effect, you can see bottom right of your screen Marnik registering as P3 as he goes the long way round. That is, I want to say that's Tane. He's just passed, or was that Hunter? I think that was Hunter. He just made the move by the Rare Metals Racing Mercedes of Hunter in the 22. Marnik, the absolute star of the show once again here, I think, back of the grid to P3. I'm just trying to see how far ahead the rest of the cars are. I think it's
Cody,
looking around the
20-second
mark
to
the lead of the race.
So
which,
whatever you do, keep going.
I have to say, he's not out of touch for Marnik there. He could potentially still be planning on a P2. We shall see as we get deeper into this one. So that was Thor. Then we've got Hunter, Thor and Hunter, very close to each other. They're the two Mercedes-AMG Apex Kingsman Motorsport Racing drivers in 24th and 25th, 3rd and 4th in class. Hunter will be absolutely overjoyed, I think, with the P4 today in his class of GT4 field. You've got 2 drivers for no grip, no glory, just navigating each other. That's Harry in the GT3 Porsche ahead of the GT4 Chevrolet, and it's all looking a little bit odd there with Rick in P5 as Rick dives down the inside into the final corner. Ingve as Otyi says, wow, Marnik is crazy good. Marnik is marvellous as I've said before, but yeah, great run from Marnik here. And we'll keep an eye on his progress, whether he can get any further. But a podium is an absolute dream result from what is a difficult situation with his qualifying. That was Rick just looking a little bit wide there on the corner, but I think being slightly distracted by everybody else around. Tin is back on track, says Logan. A risky move being so many laps down. Well, risky why? Just, I mean, there he is in 32nd position right now.
Last year
but he has done 21 laps. I think the leaders are on 24, 25 possibly now. But he wants the points, wants the experience. But yeah, high potential for penalties at the back of the grid because you're overtaking so many cars and you're so much faster than the cars you're racing with. But ultimately, he wants the points. P7 There is Snack Pack's Nate, the head of the two Nates, I think, today. So he's not usually the lead Nate, the 7-11. Could be enjoying this one. But as I say, 10 in 32nd place now. Having managed to get back into the server, rejoin, and get back on with it. But Lucas is the leader of the race now in GT3. Could be his second win of the season, potentially, unless Marnik has got anything to say about that. Snack Pack Racing's Nate heading up to try and make the overtake here. Not for position on the GT4 Mercedes AMG of Hunter, HUN, a glow on his windshield. Behind him we've got Dave as well. Then there's Brian and Leroy. Leroy is 8th, Archie is 27th or 6th in the GT4 field. Here is No Glory's Nate, 189. And he's been a bit up and down today. Qualified well, dropped down in the first third of the race, getting back to the top 10 now in P9. There is Max in 28th. Josh is in 34th and 11th overall in the GT4 field. Back to Keith there in the Lexus. Has put a gap now on Prit. That's 3.4 seconds the last time when we saw them overtake a few laps ago. There is Keith wearing the Gran Turismo badge on the front of that Lexus. That's going to be awkward for the ACC developers to do that, but there it is. Accuracy over brand protection for Keith. I spent a lot of time in the Lexus in GT7 actually, which is why I then chose it when I moved over to ACC. Thinking that it would have some sort of reference point. It was absolutely no help whatsoever, but I couldn't break the habit. So a little bit of a scuffed up front Mustang on the 420 there for Brandon. Still think we should have a 20th of April 420 race for the number, or there around there anyway at the weekend. I think everyone wants that number who isn't number one. Aries in P13. A good stint there, and Lime in 21st. Behind him on track we've got Bert in 14th place, Jeff 29th overall, 8th in class, and Snack Pack's Adam not far behind him, just 3.7 seconds. He's also got Artie there in 22nd, his class leader, about to put a lap on him, while Lucas, the race leader, tries to put a lap on the class leader, the 64. So it's definitely where the action is right now. Cool man saying 420 is your birthday. Awesome. That's great. So I'm sure everyone's jealous. So you have a good claim, Cool man, to that number, that race number. So I think you should take part in the 420 race, and it should be a single make as well. Maybe the Expo, so no one's got any complaints about favouritism. A little flash of the lights there from Adam as he's following. Might be racing on controller. That sometimes is a key bound to the left stick that you're steering with. So sometimes controller drivers are flashing the lights, and it's not in aggression or anger or to communicate anything. It's just simply because they're pressing the steering stick too hard. You've got Lucas then leading the race out there ahead of Cody, who is some distance away right now. Cody will be thinking about Marnik, I imagine, especially if his team are communicating. Marnik is in P3, 12 seconds off this position for Cody. I think that has come down from something like, I want to say around 18-19 seconds after the pit stop procedures took place, down to the last 12.25 minutes then of this race. Can Cody be caught by Marnik, do you think, in 12 minutes? That's 12 seconds in 12 minutes. That's a big ask for him, so we will see. But just the three drivers at the top of the head of the field still on the lead lap, as far as I can tell on the timing screen anyway. They have all done so far 27 laps. Harry and Rick have also done 27, but they are not on the same lap currently as our outright leader. And this is Cody continuing then in P2, just trying to pace himself. I think here he's too far away, some 7.6 seconds away from the leader. That's Lucas. Don't think there's a big difference in strategy choices for them all so far today, but that is just getting by Artie, the class leader, of course, of the GT4s. So lots going on track. as always. This is Tane, and Tane has not been able to stick with one view on his run so far today. I think he's trying them all. I haven't seen him racing inside, an offset camera position or backwards facing camera position yet, but most every other view he's used so far today. There's Cody just getting by the Chevy of Jeff, and it's all action further back. Then we've got Sam here in Snack Pack Racing, BMW number 80, making his way by Artie. Behind him on track and in position we've got Runks as well, Jeremiah, who has been in the wars today. Will not like it when if anyone happens upon his rear wing gearbox diffuser area into Ingve anymore. Here is Barnick in the 666. He is currently on his fastest lap at the moment as well. Let's see, Tin, he hasn't made his pit stop either, so Tin adding insult to injury there. Poor Tin at the moment. You can see here is Tin on track. He's going to get a penalty for not completing his pit stop during the pit stop window. Would you believe it? Even though he's been disconnected for several laps. I'm showing Tin on my leaderboard at the moment, still in 31st position. He's currently circulating on a 1:41.436. He does have the fastest lap of the race, just 0.2 of a second faster than that, 41.2. But it's not going to do him much good if he ends up with a penalty as well on top of everything else. What an absolute disaster for Tin today. It's been heartbreaking for him and the Rare Metals Racing team, unfortunately. But he's ahead of Tane, who we've got in formerly known as That One Sim Racer, if you're wondering what I've put next to his name. That's for my sake, really, rather than anybody else's. I should probably edit that and take that off. It's not very helpful to anyone. Then he's back on the chase view again. It's Tane. It's just giving us plenty to talk about, I think, as he runs. And that is Tin, wide and off. Struggling, but a great save in the end. Wow, what an amazing catch from Tin. He has got to be feeling all sorts of feelings in his seat right now, because that has been one hell of a difficult race so far for our pole position driver and, of course, our leader of the race earlier on. So, and there's Tane. We see him in picture as well. He had a great view of Tin's slip there. P18 Tane right now. That One Sim Racer seems to use chase view when preparing to pass. It's a great shout, Grays, and he did it at the start as well for general awareness, which I've not seen anybody do it before, but it's a very sensible approach if you're worried about your sort of peripheral vision. It's a good move. I tend to switch out to the fender cam when I'm pitting, which was a tip that I was given from number 189, Nate, when we were racing together, Team Refried Beans on Toast last season, to try and line up in your pit box better. So that was his top tip for me. This is Alec in the 187, currently second in his GT4 field. As coming on by comes Rick, still in P5, showing a lot less damage than the Alton Park round. He had a scathing review in the live chat from one of his friends who dropped the hammer right at the end of the live chat last week. So I felt bad for him, because he was doing his absolute best. There's no doubt in my mind about that. There's Brandon lower right, and we'll switch out to Marnik to try and restart his view. Just needs a little bit of a adjustment on my side. There we go. Apologies, it's not very smooth, but we get there. It's a lot to handle. Usually we have a whole production team doing things like this for everybody. Let me know if, on reflection, if you've changed your mind, if you'd rather still just see this this kind of view once in a while, perhaps when there isn't much action on track, or whether you appreciate it and like it nonetheless. That was Jason there getting past, and you saw it happen again in the lower portion of your screen as well. And I do hope all the other drivers don't mind me doing this as well. I'm pretty sure Matrix doesn't, because he takes my feed and produces a video next race. But again, if drivers wish to opt out, then they absolutely can. But I thought I'd give you something slightly better more interesting to look at, perhaps, and something for the fan favourites as well. I'll try and make rolling feeds as well, but there's a limit to how many I can run on my PC at once here. Just in front, that's Leroy showing P7 again, mentioned earlier, but Leroy's doing great, and our Rare Metals Racing are on for a great payday today, with the exception, of course, of team leader, and that's probably on me. Leroy into the barrier, got into the GT3, the 187. Alec there, fortunately, and is spinning off and out of the race. Oh, that's a horrible rejoin from him. That is absolutely terrible.
Leroy took out Brian there.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to call it that way. That is Brian down in 33rd position, and it's happened again. It's happened again. Insane there. Who was that? That was Keith, unfortunately, that went in. I was thinking that might have been Marnik, but that was Keith who got into it as well. And yeah, we definitely need to be thinking about our rejoins, and that was absolutely disastrous there for several drivers as they came through. So a horrible situation for all the drivers who made their way by, unfortunately. Yeah, as Logan says, stewards, get ready for that one. Wow. Yeah, well, we caught it on stream, but none of the drivers in focus were actually part of that review. I was just saying Rare Metals were on for a good result, and unfortunately that is huge then for for Leroy, down to 11th place now, Leroy, as we'll have a quick look in on Lucas, leading the race here with 4.5 minutes to go. He is some 10-ish seconds ahead of Cody, I want to say, right now. Nothing the drivers approaching that situation could really do about it. I have to say, it's all on the car rejoining, and they have the track map generally in their view. Now, you can see a difference here with some drivers will have the track map in focus. Look at the lower left, lower right of your screen. It's actually not much in the way of visibility. When the whole world is spinning around you, quite hard to find out which way is forwards in that situation. So I would recommend drivers take the wider angle, large track map when they're rejoining at least, but you can't really change it on demand. So I don't know what you guys think, but whether that would help in terms of general track awareness. But yeah, that was a big problem then towards the very end of our race. When drivers are flagging, they're starting to lose their focus, really get tired. Sometimes if you're racing somewhere particularly warm, you are really getting very warm indeed at this stage of the race, and it's still quite early in the US of A as well for some drivers, particularly Arik, I would say, out there in Alaska. He gets up pretty early to race with us, so some drivers haven't quite caffeinated to the normal level by the point at which they're racing with us, but that's enough excuses. 5.3 is the gap now, Cody to Marnik, with 3 minutes on the clock. Cody has a couple of cars to pass here. Can Cody hold on for Apex Critical Racing in the black and green, or will Marnik, the marvellous miracle worker today, from 34th or 35th on the grid, certainly dead last at the start of the race, up to the podium? Thanks in a small part to Tin, but I think he'd be fighting for this podium regardless. Coming through the final part of the race track here and into the final corner. Probably just saw at the top of the screen there a quick flash of Marnik as Cody gets by the GT3 car down in 19th position. That's Lime, who oddly enough isn't driving a lime green Apex Critical Racing car. He's out there in the Kingsman Motorsport colours, which I still kind of think is a little bit too similar to Rare Metal Racing from a commentator's perspective. Cody needs to navigate Hunter quite quickly here, down the inside into Ingve. It's a nice manoeuvre from him. So that will put him in a good position on the way into the next left-hander, Crowthorne, as it's very busy on track. And there's Marnik in the blue Lexus behind Hunter now as everybody else has made their way through. Marnik's gap to Cody as we finish out is under 4 seconds. I'm reading 3.6 at current estimations, but he's got 3 or 4 cars in between him and the main challenge there. That's Marnik scything past Hunter. He is not in a mood to be held up by anybody today. And Crit in the Porsche in 20th, Lime in the BMW, and then ahead of them the Mustang of Cody in P2. So this is the battle. This is it then for the podium of GT3. Trying to get you a nice wide angle, but sometimes the helicopter gets actually quite close here to what is going on. There goes Crit down the inside of Lime. That is not for position. That was Hunter spinning on the outside there. You've got Cody, who's been held up by Hunter as well. Look at the apex critical black and green of the P2 there in the foreground. He's also now closing in on, I think, a GT4, and the gap then between Marnik and Cody is super close. 30 seconds. This will be the final lap of the race, I'm sure, and Marnik will be focusing fully on the Mustang ahead of him and whether he can get Cody. Cody will be sweating buckets in the cockpit. What a very close race we have on our hands here. Lucas is leading the race 14 seconds further up the field. It has been an absolutely fantastic performance from Lucas. We'll just check out where exactly he is on the racetrack. He's about halfway round this final lap as the clock goes dead and the drivers will finish after Lucas. He's got a fairly worrying time ahead of him, but 1 second is the gap then to come down to it between these two drivers for second position as we finish things out. What a fantastically close race this is going to be, right to the flag. Marnik has had the pace of the field today, with the exception of Tin when he's been with us in the server. As there goes Utyi saying, Rick, well done today. He has been fantastic, has Rick, and there is Marnik looking absolutely awesome. You keep focusing on that lower right of the screen. I don't want to miss the moment where Lucas comes through. He's coming through the crocodiles into Cheetah Corner. He probably will just take a pause then as he runs down here into Ingve for the final time of asking. The 416 for the second time this season is the winner, and Lucas takes the flag then in Kyalami. What a fabulous run from him. Congratulations to him as we come through. Marnik has overtaken Cody right at the death of the race. Marnik gets by and takes home second place from dead last, not being allowed to qualify, and he crosses over in front of other drivers. But I'm wondering